All right, lads. Welcome back to my podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy. Mick Thomas here again. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you sharing. Appreciate you listening. And appreciate you subscribing. Thanks so much. Very nice of you. Very grateful. Podcast is going well, guys. We're flying off. And, I said in the past, if you have any questions or emails, not emails, but questions you want to ask me, send it to my Instagram page. Mick Thomas Comedy, right? That's where I get most of my stuff from people after shows and whatnot. And I've got a few of them. A lot of them are just advertisements. People are just sending in advertisements. You like this? Do you? Do you like this podcast equipment? Well, you can buy it off us. I don't need it right now. Thanks so much. Maybe down the line we'll expand, right? Maybe down the line when I start getting guests on, if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to talk to other people. I don't know if I want to do that, sit in a room. Right? Every comic has that, a podcast with another person on. I'm sure Joe Rogan or someone, nobody wants to hear a guest, a local comic. Yeah, tell me about the open mics. Nobody gives a shit about that, right? Nobody cares about the local comedy scene. So yeah, that's right. If you want to send if you have any questions that you want to ask me or any comments, concerns, and I'll bring them to the show. If you have any questions, I don't believe in just writing back to you. If you're being a dick, though, I'm not gonna respond to you, right? If you're being political, I'm not political in any way. Most things I say here is in jest, as a joke, right? So I got this one email, and it came to my Instagram page. Let me read it for you. Again, guys, I can't read out loud. I'm semi-fucking mentally disabled, okay? So forgive me as isn't that weird though that I can read normal? Like when I read books, I read normally, not a problem. But when I go to read out loud, I'm like a fucking stuttering idiot. I remember one time when I had to go to my daughter's school when she was I think 4 or 5. She was 5 years old, and it was like one of those things where the parent goes, and I went out because I'm involved with my kids as much as I can be. And I go out to the school, and I had to read this book. And it was There's a Walk-It in My Pocket by Dr. Seuss. Seuss, not Dr. Zeus. Zeus is the god. Wasn't he a wrestler too, Zeus? Yeah, Tiny Lester or something his name was, right? The cross-eyed, big black guy, cross-eyed guy. Anyway, and I'm reading this book in front of my kids. She's 5. And I'm trying to read out loud. I'm trying to read Walk It in My Pocket. Like 2 classrooms joined, and there's a bunch of young teachers there. And I start reading, and I'm fucking tripping up with marbles in my mouth. Right, to the point where even my daughter, who's 5 years old, just understood humiliation. She's like, oh my God, my dad's a fucking asshole. Oh my God, he's illiterate. He is illiterate. And all these young teachers who came in to probably just, hear an accent, they were like, oh, all right. I guess you need more than an accent to get by in this world, because this guy is fucking useless. But anyway, so forgive me as I read this message I got on my Instagram page. Hello, Mick. That's me. I saw you last week at the comic strip live in Manhattan. Of course you did. One of my favorite places to go. I frequent there a lot, so that's where you're going to see me. I was with my brother. We were the 2 men from Switzerland that you talked about suicide with. That's a good introduction, right? I remember those 2 guys. Not to sound cliche, but they were 2 blonde guys with glasses from Switzerland. They sat right up front with their arms folded. But they laughed at everything, and the audience was small enough where I could talk to them. I don't really talk to people in the audience really, unless it's a quiet night and I got time. We both really enjoyed your comedy and now your podcast. Oh, that's nice of you. Thanks, lads. I have a question for you. Go ahead. Since your podcast is called Cheaper Than Therapy, have you actually ever tried therapy? Keep up the funny, and I'll see you again when I visit my brother next year, Noah. Oh, that was nice. Cheers, Noah. Cheers for coming out And one of those things when you go to the comic strip, guys, people aren't there to see you, really. They're just there to see a fun show. And the comic strip always kind of delivers, right? So you go in there, and all of a sudden, if you happen to make a connection with somebody, then so be it, you know? But, yeah, and then every once in a while, people will kind of, this guy's new. Never heard of him before, but he was relatively funny. Let me kind of keep an eye on this guy. So appreciate that, Noah. That's your name, right? And I remember you two guys sitting up front. That was a fun show, actually. I had a lot of fun at that one. All right, let's go. To answer your question, have I ever been to therapy? Yes, I have. I have been to therapy, and it doesn't work for me. For me, by the way. So I think I say here, guys, if therapy's working for you, then keep going. If you need, if you're enjoying therapy and it's getting you through a lot of stuff, then by all means continue to go. Just don't listen to me. I did go to therapy, right? Because it's very hard to go to therapy when you're Irish, because if you remember what Freud said about the Irish, he says Irish people are impervious. Hang on a second, let me check what it is. I'm trying to get the word now. Hang on. I'll figure this out. I'm going to ask Siri. Right? Let's see if Siri works. This is shit. This is what's, all right, hang on a second. What did Freud say about the Irish? All right. You want to tell me? Or are you just going to... Okay. What Freud said about the Irish is that they're the only people who are impervious to psychoanalysis, right? Which means it's it's useless on us. I don't know why. It doesn't work on us. I don't know, man. It depends on the thing, right? If you need to go, like if you're someone like the Joker, if you've seen that movie, The Joker, like that's a guy that needed therapy, right? He needed somebody to help him. But I got a lot of friends who go to therapy, right? Got a lot of friends who love it. Can't get enough of therapy. They go all the time. I went years and years ago when I was in this country. I got into a car accident. I was driving home from a show and my car hydroplaned in the rain and I flipped over twice. And afterwards, right, a few days afterwards, I guess I started having these panic attacks. So I went, I didn't go right there and then. I was like, holy shit, where the fuck is this coming from? Right? I had panic attacks where if I didn't want to be somewhere, I would get this panic attack. Right? So like a wedding, a birthday party, or anything like that, right? I just kind of I would just walk away. I was just like, all right, bye, I'm done. I would tap out and just leave. And I didn't know what it was. And then I read Jim Henson's book. And I'm a big Muppet fan, if you know anything about me. I love the Muppets. I always have since I was a kid. I still do to this day. And I was a huge Jim Henson fan. I read his autobiography, which is really interesting. And he was in a car accident himself. And when he came out of the accident, he realized that not that life was too short, but there wasn't enough time to do all the things he had to do. Which is, look at Jim. It's a fancy way of saying fucking life's too short. So he just stopped going, right? And a light bulb went off for me. I'm like, that's it. Like, I gotta stop doing shit I don't want to do. Right? I gotta stop talking to people that I don't want to, I don't go to weddings anymore. Ever do I go to weddings. I don't go to fucking birthday parties. I don't go to dinner parties. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I don't talk to... Do you know, have you ever been to a wedding before? Then you've been to every single wedding, right? No matter what you say, oh, well, mine's different. This year, it's the fucking same wedding. It's the same hacky bridesmaid speech that gets up, right? And the same hacky best man that gets up. And I remember that trip when we went to Cancun? Oh, we won't say any more about that. Oh, and everyone fucking quietly laughs. Ugh. I can't do it. I can't be stuck beside somebody. And where are you from? I don't care. I don't care. I don't do it. I don't go to barbecues. Don't go to barbecues. I don't give a shit about your deck. Right? I don't give a shit about your deck. Did you ever go to a fucking barbecue? Did you ever go to a barbecue or someplace and you gotta talk to fucking Jeff? Do you know what I mean? Like you go and you gotta talk to fucking Jeff. You know who Jeff is, right? It's just every place you go, there's a fucking Jeff. Well, you know, with the deck here, normally we use 2x4s, but what I did this year is I just went with a 3x6 and I sanded it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what type of nails you used in your fucking deck. The only thing I care about is can you set this, is there enough wicker on this fucking, or lacquer, I should say, on this deck that we can fucking light it all and burn us all up with it? That's what I don't give a shit about your deck, Jeff. Don't give a shit about your extension on your house, right? And you're not funny. That's another thing when you're around people. Some people there's a difference in having a good sense of humor and being funny. I say this all the time. I have a lot of friends who have great sense of humors, but are just not necessarily funny, right? Some people are very funny. They're not comics and they're fucking hilarious. I know bunches of them. Others have good sense of humors, but oh my God, they're not funny, but they know they're not. When you get stuck talking to fucking Jeff, right? It's just bullshit. It's just tries to be funny and he tries to repeat jokes he heard and you think you didn't fucking hear it before, right? You know who's funny? You know who's funny is I could do what you do. I could get up there and I could do that. Could you, Jeff? That'd be awesome. Fucking do that. I can't be around those people. And especially, oh my God, when you're fucking kids, that's the worst. That's the worst when you have kids, because you have no choice but to be around these people now. Just because your kid plays with their kid, you got to be around them. So I remember one time I took my kid to this birthday party. I think it was the last one I ever went to. And I took my son, and it was somewhere out east on Long Island. It was in a shithole town. And I was like 9 o'clock in the morning. And when I got there, it was just fucking... I don't give a shit. I'll say it. It's white trash. Just white trash people, because I guess they went to the same school as my son. Right? Just fucking drinking beers, knocking them back at 10 in the morning. No shame. And I'm sitting on the couch. Nothing in common with these fucking Jeffs. Nothing in common. You know, the Jets this year... Well, what you need to do is shut the fuck up and just stop drinking beers and focus on your kids. So then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, Spider-Man is coming. Yeah, Spider-Man. S-P-I-D-A, Spider. Spider-Man was coming to the kid's birthday party. 6 years old, right? Less than 6, I'd probably say 5 actually, because it's been that long since I've been to one of these parties. All of a sudden this Ford fucking... I don't know what it was, a Focus 2002 pulled up, and out got the fattest fucking Spider-Man I've ever seen. Walked up, just the suit didn't fit him, and he had a pair of dirty sneakers on that weren't even red or blue to match. Like, what are those sneakers? I don't know, but they just has the N on them. What are they called? New Balances or something? New Bonds? I don't fucking know. Now I gotta Google this shit again. I tell you, if it wasn't for this... Sneakers with an N on the side of it. See, fucking this voice activated thing doesn't understand my accent. What comes up? Sneakers, women, and undersiders. You know what? Let's look at sneakers, women, undersiders. What comes up? All right, something comes with pictures of women's feet. Like yeah, right. Sneakers with N on the side of it. What if I said sneakers with N word on the side of it? You're probably screaming at me, you fucking idiot. Yeah, it's New Balances. All right, I'm so sorry. Right? I realize a lot of you are screaming at your fucking TVs right now, or your TVs, screaming at your radios, or your car, your dashboard, or wherever you're listening to this. I'm sorry. So he pulls up with these dirty fucking shit brown New Balances, and they're just filthy. And he puts the mask on. It doesn't even close on the back of his big, dirty, greasy black hair. And his party trick was like, hey, you want to walk on Spider-Man's rope? And he took a shitty piece of Home Depot rope, maybe 4 foot long, maybe. It wasn't even cut. It looked like a fucking dog had chewed off both ends. Like, it's like he tied up a bunch of... You know what it looked like? It looked like he was fighting pit bulls. He was dog fighting and they chewed their way out of the rope. And he goes, I'll just take it to the fucking kids' party. So I don't know what they paid for Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was walking across the rope. And I all right, come on, son. He's like, what? We're going. Like, we gotta go. And he's like, and the woman was like, we haven't had cake yet. My son was dad, we haven't had cake yet. He goes, I'll fucking buy you a cake. I'll stop at Carvel and I'll buy you a cake. And you and I will sit there and we'll watch fucking Spider-Man on Netflix. Because this is bullshit. I had a panic attack and I grabbed him and I left. And I think that was the last function I was ever at. It was a nervous breakdown because of fucking Jeff. But when you're around kids like that, man, when you're around kids' parents, and they just start talking to you about like their sport events that, and then I took, and then Justin plays, and then the coach said to him that, you're the best one, but we really got it. And I'm just standing there going, this is awful. This is awful. I can't be around people like that anymore. Right? I don't want to waste my time talking to these people. Same, you shouldn't do that, guys. If you're out there and you're made go somewhere by your significant other and you don't want to go, just go. There's a power in saying no. There's a power in that. I'm not saying be an asshole. I'm not saying that. But it's so much better to say no. And all of a sudden, all my shit went away. All my panic attacks went away. So I did have, to go back to the question, as Noah said, I did go to therapy. And the only time I went to therapy was my friend. She was a doctor and she was doing her final exams and she needed to analyze somebody. And I had to sit there with her for 4-hour sessions. So 4 separate hour sessions. And I talked about my car accident, these panic attacks. And the poor girl, I think I made her quit the profession. Right? And all therapists really do, right? If you're like me, when you don't really have any of those problems where you need to be on medication, you're like, hey, where are you today? I want to burn down a building. Okay, right? If you're just like a normal, like if you're being a therapist, man, go and listen to people fucking complain. My husband, he won't talk to me and he won't listen to my stories. Your stories are shit, mate. Don't expect your husband to put up with them. That's why you have your own friends. You go to your friends and him go to his friends. Your stories should never meet in the middle. Boring stories. So all the therapist does is just sits there and listens to you fucking complain. Right? Unless it's a real problem, they listen to you complain. Right? If you go to your therapist like, hey, what's going on with you today? Well, you know what? I only have the urge and anytime I piss, I can't piss unless I'm pissing in the sink. For some reason, it won't come out. If I stand in a urinal, not a drop. I go to the toilet, dry as a bone. But as soon as I go to a sink, it flows. It just flows like Niagara. Right? That's somebody you might want to talk to a therapist. Like, all right, what the fuck's going on with you? Let's go deep into this one and find out why the fuck you have to piss in a sink. So all a therapist does, and what they do is what my friend Alison did, is she, and these therapists, what they do is they get you to talk until you find the solution, until you find the answer to the problem. Imagine what a fucking racket is that, right? That's like if you pay me to come and push sheetrock up in your house, but I go there and I tell you how to do it and you do it all. I just sit there and watch. That's what that is. It's a fucking ripoff. It's a scam. Therapy is a scam. I'm sorry if you go. It's how I feel about it. I just can't be around people, man. I can't. I can be around comics. Comics are weird. Here's the way, like, comics say the sickest shit, man. And it's fucking so great. Because you want to hear some sick stuff, try be a fly on the wall in the green room of a real comedy club with real comics. Oh my God, is that dark shit. Unbelievably dark shit. Right? You will say shit that will not get you into heaven if you believe in that. You'll go to walking through the gates and go, whoa, hang on a second, let me just pull up this fucking transcript right here. Yeah, getting in. We've had comedians come up to us. Her mother's just died on a Monday and they're back at the club on a Thursday. As soon as they walk in the door, I go, why, your motherfucking sick of your comedy, so she just offed herself? Sick shit. But I would rather be around those people because they're honest. I would rather be around bad comedians than a nice person. You know, have you ever seen the movie The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio? No, Mick, we didn't. Why don't you tell us about it? All right. This is what I think about comedians, right? If you've ever seen The Beach, you're going to understand this analogy. If not, I'll try my best to explain it. It's basically about these people. They found a small piece of paradise on a hidden island, and it's called The Beach, right? It's paradise, heaven on earth, right? Heaven on earth. And what happens is they're away from the outside world. So something happens to the rice that they got to go back to the mainland. So DiCaprio goes back to the mainland. And then when he's back there, he sees all these people just getting fucking drunk and just throwing up on the street and just techno music. Right? The same mundane shit that you see every day. And he's looking at it disgusted, like, ugh. But then he gets to go back to the beach. But what goes on the beach is fucked up too, right? Those guys from Switzerland, not you, Noah. Remember the two guys, the Switzerland guys, the three Switzerland guys who got attacked by the shark? Spoiler alert. Look, you know what? I don't even have to say spoiler alert. Do you ever know some people do that, by the way? They go, spoiler alert, he dies at the end of it. And I go, wait a minute, whoa, you just said spoiler alert and didn't give me a second. You never gave me a second to go, shut the fuck up, don't tell me about it. You never gave me a second to put my fingers in my ears and go, la, 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 la. Don't you hate when people do that? Spoiler alert, and then just say the spoiler. Fucking give me a minute. Take a beat. Spoiler alert. All right? He dies at the end. Give me a chance to react. Anyway, I digress. So these three, if you haven't seen it by now, fucking fuck off. It's a great movie. It's from the early 2000s. You should have seen it by now. So these Swedes are dying. One of them is dying. So instead of listening to him scream, they just take him up to the mountain or up the hill to the forest and leave him there to die because they don't want to hear him scream. They don't want him to ruin their paradise. So basically, the analogy I'm looking for is, that I'm trying to explain to you, is that the real world is fucked up, but the comedians are on the beach. But what goes on the beach is also fucked up in our own way, right? But we're just not part of society, and that's the way I find most comedians. You know, that's my own weird analogy on that one. But I personally don't believe in therapy. And you know the weird thing too is, like, because I do have depression, right? I'm not going to dwell on that or go into it anymore. I really, Mick? Yeah, like a lot of my friends suffer from depression. And I was reading this book called, I can't remember the name, I think it was called Dealing with Depression or Living with whatever it was. And I said I'd give it a listen. It was a very good book. And I always said, and people are like, well, if you're depressed, why don't you go to therapy? And I never had this, and this is true, right? You can look this up. Freud said therapy is a waste of time when you're depressed. And I always believed this, and for the very same reason. So me and Freud were on the same page. Basically what Freud was saying is that if you are, I'm gonna summarize for you. I'm gonna paraphrase. Basically saying, like, if you're depressed, you're not going to go to a therapist, because if you go to a therapist depressed, you're going to talk about what's making you depressed, which makes you, it's called ruminating. So now you're going to stay in that world of depression, so it's going to get even worse for you, right? So therapy is technically, when you're depressed, is going to make you worse, unless he fucking throws medication at you, right? So the only time to go to a therapist to deal with depression is when you're not depressed. But then who wants to go to a therapist when you're not depressed? So it's a kind of vicious circle. And I've always thought that, and I read this in the book, and it was that one which chapter was dedicated to what Freud sounds like. Fucking yes! Mick Thomas is smarter than the average bear. But again, go look at it. If therapy, again, I keep coming back to this, if it helps you, keep going. If you're fucking suicidal, Jesus Christ, go to a therapist, right? So I was talking to these guys about suicide, because they're from Switzerland. This is how it came up. Switzerland, you have assisted suicide, right? So if you're in Switzerland, you've had enough and you've tapped out, or if you have like a terminal illness, you can just go, hey doc, yep, I'm done. All right, here you go, and you can go, no questions asked. There's a few countries: Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands do it, Canada, of course. Colombia. There's a few others. You can Google it if you don't believe me. Jesus, Mick, you know a lot about assisted suicide. Yeah. Assisted suicide. Isn't that great, though? Like, that you have that option, because, like, over here, if you have fucking cancer, and I'm sorry if this is getting very dark and very depressing, but if you have cancer, they will fucking just... You will run up a bill, you will leave a bill for your family that's almost unpayable. Almost unpayable, right? You can go through fucking years of chemotherapy and puking up, and the chance of making it are very slim. But you can't just go, hey, can we just finish this? Can we just fucking end the race now, please? It's not legal here because they want to make the money from it. That's why they want the money from the treatment. Oh, Jesus, make it fucking dark. But yeah, so we're talking to these guys from Switzerland, and we were talking about suicide, and we're like, yeah, you should embrace it, right? Like, you should, why not have suicide parties? You know what I mean? Like a suicide shower. Like, you have a baby shower. Baby showers, bridal showers, just fucking, hey, a suicide shower. Everyone sits around in a circle, and this guy is opening presents. Like, oh my God, a rope and a wobbly chair. How did you know? Yeah, I got the guy at Home Depot said that's the best rope. And we were looking at that rope too, weren't we? And we were looking at that rope. Yes, we were. I'm so glad you got it. Assisted suicide. Then I wonder what that would do with your insurance companies, though, right? Because I'm insured. I think my insurance covers suicide. Like, I still get paid out. My family get paid out if I still go. Right? If I still go. That's gotta be tough too, man. When people say like, that's you're a coward. You know how brave it must be to fuck. Imagine you want to go kill yourself by standing in front of a train. You know how much hassle. You gotta get a train schedule to find out when, 'cause you want to be standing there all night on the track, and the train comes down. And what if somebody in the next town over did it? Right? So the train hits him. Now you're standing there for 45 minutes like an asshole on the train track. And now all of a sudden you found out the next guy 2 towns over fucking did it. Now you're a hack because you're not original. But I'm worth more, and I found this out when I took out a life insurance policy. I'm worth more to my kids dead. I'm worth more to them dead than I am alive. Do you understand? Like, if my kids go, hey, Dad, can we get a pool? Yeah, of course you can. No problem. Daddy's just got to fucking drown himself in it next day. That's it. Then you can have a pool. Right? Fuck. Can we go to Disney? Sure, I'll get right on that. Fucking hang. Rope. All right, guys, I'm sorry I took a deep, a bad turn. But anyway, don't blame me, guys. Blame Noah from Switzerland. I just want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast again. I appreciate it. And hit subscribe to wherever you're finding it. Share it. Let your peeps know what's going on. And coming up on the 24th, that whole week, from Sunday to Saturday, I will be at the Borgata Casino, headlining there. All those shows, 7 nights. Is that 7 nights? Saturday, Sunday? Sorry, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 7 nights. I'm a fucking idiot. Tickets are moving along, guys. So come on down, and I would love to hang out with you. But again, guys, thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Mick Thomas Comedy on Instagram if you want to have any questions or comments or concerns. If you are seeing a therapist, go see it. Keep seeing your therapist. I hope it's working. If you think therapy would work for you, go see it. Do not listen to this asshole to think that therapy doesn't work. I'm just an idiot, and but it doesn't work for me. But I just want to make sure all you guys are well. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and I will talk to you real soon. Good luck to you now. Take care. Bye-bye. It's the Mick Thomas Podcast Show.